welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast Game of the Year, episode 2022, A Look Back. I'm Bobby.
Amanda.
Oh, I'm Amanda.
I'm Nick, and I didn't forget to introduce myself this week.
Oh my God, Nick, you're so much louder. I'm Christian.
And I'm realizing that Days brought enough bangs to the show to make up for what Nick lacks in them. Look at the forehead on this kid, man.
Yeah. All forehead, bro. All forehead.
But I'm also bringing in the new year. How were your guys' collective New Year's Eves?
Pretty all right. I was sick, so that fucking sucked. I planned on having some friends over and making some tacos and stuff, and then that all got canceled.
Ooh,
it's terrible.
Days, you were drunk in the woods or something similar?
I was pretty drunk in the woods, definitely. Yeah, went to the other side of Michigan, still the woods though, and partied with my family, and we got hammered. My cousin came back from Germany, and he got really drunk and kept going up to everybody, being like, "I miss my family." It was wonderful.
That's nice.
So it was a good time.
A wholesome drunk. There's nothing like a wholesome drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a proverbial other side of the tracks in Michigan, or is?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I feel like there is a big thing of the east side, not necessarily verse, but like it is very different. Like the west side, which is where I'm currently staying, is way more Dutch and way more outdoorsy in the sense that like there's sand dunes and like the Great Lake Michigan is a lot easy and more accessible in my opinion to go out and do lake stuff on. There's way more outdoor activities and people going outdoors and stuff. Whereas on the east side, like there's more people just working and more jobs, and it's where like all the factories were and stuff. So it's a totally different vibe because it's way more industrial and like cities and stuff like Detroit.
Homelessness is an outdoor activity. Are there any of them, or is it too cold?
No, like it's there's like a decent amount of homeless people, but Detroit was doing something where they turned the old Joe Louis Arena, the old hockey arena, into a homeless shelter to actually help out people, and it's an entire program that does, I wouldn't say like rehabilitate, but like kind of reintegrate people into a job and things, and it's been really successful, and there's been a lot of homeless people taken off of the streets because in the winter it gets really cold, and we definitely still have a strong like homeless population in Detroit, and those people are not like faking it, scamming nothing, because there's no way you'd want to be in negative 16-degree weather doing that, like living out on the street. Yeah, like it's dangerous. So I mean, there's a lot of like shelters and places that are helping, and it's a bit different. But yeah, Detroit is a totally different vibe than like the west side of Michigan. But I went to neither for New Year's Eve. I went out into the woods up in rural Farmville, like in Michigan, but like still woods. So.
Your life is so much different than ours. We have there's no forest. I tried to go do mushroom. Me and my friend were like, let's go do mushrooms in the forest. And we're like, okay. And then we took the mushrooms and then went to try to find the forest. No forest in San Diego. Nope. No. Try to find a forest when you're high. Fucking, it's ridiculous. Bobby, what'd you do on New Year's Eve?
Nothing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, Days. We're going back to our correspondent where fun is actually happening. I went to a party. It was good. It was good. You know, all older people my age, and they all have kids. I couldn't believe that the little kids all made it to midnight, man. Like, all from 2 years old all the way up to 10 years old, about 7 kids, they all made it to midnight. I remember, like, yeah, that never used to be. We'd all be asleep by the time midnight came around. But yeah, they all made it. Yeah.
Only our kids, man. Only our kids.
Did you play games or anything, Bob?
No. I do the same thing I do every year. I go out to the SpaghettiOs factory. Actually, it's the Spaghetti Factory. I just like to call it the SpaghettiOs factory because that's humorous to me. But I go there, I order the garlic mazithra, and then I forget that they put way too many mushrooms in that, and so I have to eat around it. Pretty exciting.
Is this a real story?
You intentionally disappoint yourself every year? Way to started off with a banger, dude.
Yep.
I'm going to end this year with a disappointment.
Have you guys ever had mazithra from that place?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's great.
I don't even know what mazithra is.
It's like
it sounds like a mineral.
It does.
It's
though.
carved
It
out,
really
carved
does.
out of mazithra.
I kind of want to just go to the SpaghettiOs factory. I want to
Dude,
see
you
how,
should. When
how
you're
it's
out here,
made.
bro, we're going. Well,
All
they
right.
have locations even in Canada. They're all over the place.
Bobby, you're an adult now. Like, there's such good Italian places in San Diego.
Like Buca de Beppo's?
no,
Olive Garden?
dude, no. Jesus Christ.
No, I go to good Italian places too. It's just every now and then
Name
I
one.
really want.
I don't believe you. I'm going to call your bluff.
There's one I recently went to. Well, I get a lot of calzones, but I go to Bronx Pizza. That's my favorite place to get a calzone. Arrivederci down in Hillcrest. That's a good
Whoa.
spot.
Yes, Arrivederci is amazing. I haven't
Yeah.
been there in a long time.
But
Okay.
Until
Dude,
we-
I went to go visit you, Emilio, and you're like, what do you want to eat? And it was just nothing but Mexican food. I love Italian food. Where was that?
I don't know, man.
I
You were
mean-
just coming from the East Coast. I thought I'd treat you to your
to real
the
Mexican
flavor-
food.
here are the flavors
Guys.
of your people.
For
True.
New Year's, I went to a place called the Potion Factory. They don't make SpaghettiOs there, but what they do make is they have 40 cocktails, and every one of them
It's $40.
come. Yes, I like how you knew that. Yeah, they're all $40, which is crazy, but they all come in like different contraptions. So I got
Oh.
mine, and it was brought in a volcano, and the server brought me like a small glass vial of like flammable chemicals, and said, "Put it in." Put it in. And so I did. And the flame kicked up. And I was like, whoa. But then, like, he just handed me my drink from his other hand. I was like, wait, what did it have to do with my drink? Nothing.
It was just a chemical reaction.
It was just a show.
Yeah,
Here's a
but-
fire hazard.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
but-
Here's a drink, too.
Then the person
That'll
beside
be
me ordered a drink.
$50.
And they had to reach inside a smoke casket that they couldn't see in. And like it was like slimy and goopy, and they took out their drink, and it was awesome, and like the smoke was billowing everywhere, and I was like, damn, if only I had another $40, I would try it out.
Yeah, I
But
gotta imagine. No, without hyperbole, I'm guessing it is about $40. No, a drink.
yes, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 35 Canadian
Yeah.
dollars, 35 decals. Yeah,
30 fine.
That is like
Loonies.
50 American shit.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Wow. So this is the Game
Wow.
of the Year edition. We really switched it up this year. We're doing all kinds of shit. We have call-ins. We have random categories that we made up. Not call-ins, but pre-recorded stuff. We have commercials. We have all kinds of new sponsors. Those are coming up. I guess let's jump right into it, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I did a pretty good job as Bobby.
you did. Yeah, you sound just like him. All right. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to shout out some stats. So this year we played 135 games, or I'm sure you guys played way more than that. But the games that we talked about that weren't on the radar, that you actually played, that we all played, 135 plus games, because I started in February, so we're missing a couple months there. Pretty impressive. The rundown goes: Emilio played 50, Amanda 42, Bobby 41, Nick 30, and I talked about 9 that I played because I barely talk. Emilio took 322 P breaks. That is an accurate stat. I went back and I listened to everything.
Wow, dude.
Dude. That's a lot of B.
We took in a lot of listener questions. Honestly, I accidentally stopped counting, so the number isn't accurate. But I know Warconius was the most frequent asker because, we all know that. Nick, you told 13 serious lies. I didn't count minor fibs. And we recorded 55 episodes. We recorded 55 episodes in total, which is a little bit more than weeks there are in the month. But we did do those 4 interviews when I had my wedding and some of us went to France. 45 patrons joined us this year, so thanks for your contributions. And thanks for everyone who listens too. I like getting little messages. I'm sure everyone else likes getting little messages. You said on the podcast, I love it so much. Thank you. Thank you for those messages.
Are you like a small Dutch woman?
That's what I imagine all our listeners are, small Dutch people, which don't exist, by the way. They're all giant.
No small Dutch. So if I'm doing the math here correctly, so Nick is at a lie every 4 episodes about
A serious lie.
a serious lie. Yeah,
Yeah.
where he really
And I'm at
digs in his
at
heels.
least 3 to 4 P's per episode. Is that what you're trying to?
Wow.
I don't think we should dig into the numbers too closely here. I think we're missing the.
Yeah, let's count the average amount of urine depleted during a session. We can go ahead and work out the math for how much has been produced.
And that must have really gone down towards the end because I cut out drinking. So as I drink my whiskey, but yeah, since I stopped drinking, 0 P's. Like maybe once I've gone up. So yeah, a lot less P this year coming up.
Wow,
All right.
2023, a lot less pee. I love it.
That's a promise.
Not this
folks.
episode because he's drinking.
'Cause I'm drinking.
All right, Nick, lead us off on your categories. What do we have going here?
All right, everybody. We got some pretty Nick-like categories here. We have games that you'll have fun whether you're winning or losing. We have games that Bobby might play if I recommend them. And DLC that makes you want to pick up an old-ass game. And so, yeah.
Do we want to start off with Emilio's ad first?
Yeah, I do. That's what I was about to say. Here's an ad from Emilio.
It's not my ad. It's our new sponsor, guys. Go-
True. Sorry, you're right.
Have you ever needed your hands while you're PC gaming? Can't stuff your face fast enough? Pick up some PC bits and bytes. It's cereal that comes in a scuba container. A scuba, what do you call that fucking thing that goes in your mouth? The J? It's like a J shape. The scuba thing.
Oh, a snorkel.
Snorkel. Yeah. They're snorkel-shaped bowls of cereal where you can just snap down on your favorites, bits and bytes without raising up your hands from your keyboard or mouse. You can chomp, you can chomp as you get frags. Yeah. Call 1-800-BITS and bytes. And then like a whole bunch of legal stuff there.
All right.
That was pretty fresh.
Thanks, man.
I like that.
I hadn't
you
even
want a
thought about
snorkel
that
full of
since I
gamer
wrote
food
it
with-
3 weeks ago.
So we have listener nominations for Game of the Year, right? Is that what this is?
Yep, you betcha. got
Yeah,
the
so we
pen
have
pepper
Hollow
done.
Point
No, Bobby's gonna.
and Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2 because they finally got their 1.0 release this year. So we'll go ahead and talk about more of those. Talk more about those later. I haven't played Hollow Point, but I've definitely played plenty of
Okay,
Mountain Blade
Jesus
Bannerlord
Christ.
2, and I will say it's in the top 4 this year.
I
Yeah,
think there
haven't
might
played-
be.
there might be some confusion here.
I think there's a small timeout. So Hollow Point is the person who a listener who wants us to
No, dude,
listen
it's
to his-
definitely a game of the year. Dude. It's definitely in the top running. He just said it's like the top 5 this year. Hollow Point, man. We all know about it. We talked about it 3 months in a row.
No, I wasn't talking about Hollow Point. I was talking about Mountain Blade.
Where's my falsehoods monitor? I'm putting a giant
Yo,
one.
take that number
Oh,
up.
wow.
1 this year, son.
We're doing so good for the first episode. Lots of pee, lots of falsehoods. Nice.
Nice. I'm gonna go
Sniper.
ahead and play his audio for the nomination, which was Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2. So we're gonna hear from Hollow Point.
Bobby's gonna appreciate this. Bobby's gonna appreciate this. I'm gonna get right to the point. My game of the year is Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Beautiful game, great diverse gameplay. Really enjoyed it.
I do appreciate when people get right to the point, right to the
Yeah.
hollow point. In fact, but
Oh,
I
Big
thank
laugh
you again
on
for
that
that Hollow Point. We really appreciate interaction between our fans and us. So please send us more recordings of people talking. Especially for just normal episodes. We just want to hear you guys talk. Just make sure our fans are real, not bots.
Wakonius just sent,
Um,
this is going well.
yeah,
They
it's
say,
going so-
they say that they can't put, that you can't read sarcasm in text, but I see the dripping off the letters.
this is why.
Yeah.
So Christian has this big long list that he's. First of all, thank you for doing all this work. You've put in a lot of effort to this episode, and we're just going to ruin it. By the way, but that's awesome that you did that. But this is why we don't do lists, is because we have such a hard time. I say we, but you know who I mean. But we have such a hard time with lists. Like every time we try to like have any sort of form, we totally mess it up.
So,
every single fucking time.
so getting back to these categories, Nick, now that you read them all, are we going to go back to them and then you're going to read how's this work? This part? Could you
Yeah,
just-
so I'm going to read my nominations for each one, and I will answer 2 of them because Bobby is going to answer the middle category.
Okay, sounds good.
So games that you have fun, whether winning or losing. In my opinion, I'm going to say the answer is rounds.
What are the other options?
Yeah, can we get some nominations?
We got FPS chess and Dinkum. Now, Dinkum is like an Animal Crossing clone, and you can lose in that game quite a bit if you die too fucking much and you don't fucking save. And FPS chess is really fun. I just think FPS chess is too clunky. I know me and Emilio played rounds. Has anyone else played it?
No.
You guys need
No.
to play rounds, man. It is
Yeah.
very good.
It is worth the $3. I think I've played it for 5 hours already or 4 hours already. And it is one of the best ways to kill like 20 or 30 minutes. And it doesn't really matter your skill all too much. It's all about luck of the draw in a lot of ways. But it's a fun game. It's competitive. It gets everybody laughing. It's just 1v1. That's it.
It's competitive because it doesn't matter who you're playing against. Like John was playing against his wife, and Nick, you were playing against your wife. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that you guys are generally, like, for an action game, probably quite a bit better. But it doesn't matter because it works its way out. Because the loser keeps getting buffs, and so eventually you feel like you're in a boss fight because this person's like super powerful, doing all kinds of crazy shit, and it's just fun. It works its way out.
Definitely a handicap.
Yeah, definitely a handicap, but that's the whole point of the whole thing. Yeah.
I will say that this game, the mechanics of it definitely make you think. It's not just shoot and jump. There's a lot of like, oh, it's this map, so my gun's pretty much ineffective, so I have to do this kind of thing. So, also some of the synergies are absolutely insane and broken. But shout out to Rounds. You are my game that I will have fun whether or not I'm winning or losing.
That's a good category. I like it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Next
So
year.
this is one. This next category is games that Bobby might play if I recommend them. The nominations are Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2, Marauders, and Warhammer 40k Darktide. And now Bobby's supposed to pick this.
I'm going to pick the winner. I have zero interest in Marauders, and I don't think that's going to change. I just don't like those types of games. Now, I didn't have any interest in Bannerlord 2 either, yet that game ended up being one of my favorites all year. Spoiler alert. Warhammer 40k was a much easier sell for me. Like right away, I was like, okay, yeah, for sure I'm going to like that game, of course. But I don't know. It's hard for me to judge because I feel like Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord was just like, I don't know. It started really low. The expectation was low, and then it ended up being really good. And Warhammer 40k, the expectation was high, and it ended up being really good. So I feel like I want to give it to Bannerlord.
That's
Nice,
what's up.
nice.
I can respect that.
Cool.
It's I definitely love both games. They're two different types of fun. It's like Mountain Blade is definitely a game that you play by yourself. You got a few hours to kill. You got some snacks. You're just gonna play Village Simulator. And then Darktide is like, oh, me, my wife, Emilio, and Diddy are gonna hop on, or me, my wife, Emilio, and Days are gonna hop on and play, and Emilio's gonna go have to take care of his kids, and then we all die.
Yep.
Um,
Literally,
That's definitely
everybody
not
was
based on a true
bleeding
story.
on the floor. Everyone was bleeding on the floor around me. I could have saved them, and I said, guys, I got to go. I just walked away from my computer.
You're so responsible, dude.
There's a 2-year-old
Yep.
at the top of the stairs, dude. Fucking, like,
I'll do it.
yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at me. I'll do it.
If we had carpeted stairs, I might have like stuck around. But it's like hardwood, lacquered, slippery as fuck.
Twist
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it's not a good
Yeah.
time.
It's a death stare.
What
Nick,
shape do you want it to be? Can it be a death trapezoid? Because that's what that's what my stairs look like.
for this next category, Nick, I think if you like, it could be a question if you wanted, like we could all weigh in if you wanted. If you want, we could. If
Sure.
okay.
So, do you guys have any DLCs that make you want to pick up an older game?
No.
Um,
I don't think that too wide. I think you're on the right track. Just read your
Just
nomination.
scope it in a little bit.
This live
All right.
editing is great. I love live editing.
So this last category is DLC that make you want to play an old ass game.
Okay.
There's Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Definitive Edition DLC, and the Cyberpunk 2077 next gen update is what they called it, I believe. What do you guys feel about any of these? Did you guys end up playing any of these, or is there anything I'm missing possibly?
Well, it was The Witcher that had the next gen update, I believe.
I think Cyberpunk and The Witcher both.
Oh,
have those,
they both
'cause-
did it. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about going back to The Witcher for the next gen update, and I guess I fucked it up. I might have did some false advertising on the podcast. I thought The Witcher 1 got remade, but I guess it's The Witcher 3 that got remade for common day or modern day or whatever. So I think I might play it, but I'm not sure.
Have you seen any of the? Have you seen any like the differences in screenshots and like things like that, or like gameplay?
Yeah, when they first dropped it, I guess it was buggy as shit, and then
Oh yeah.
a bunch of people, people complained, and modders got involved, and then they worked it out, and most things are working now. But they didn't have to do this at all because it's free.
No.
They did it as a labor of love. Although they did take a lot of mods from popular, I don't know how it all works out, but if I was a modder and I put tons of hours into something, and then the parent company used it in their DLC, I think I'd be very proud. Because you're doing it for free anyway, right? So,
Yeah, no, it's when your passion project gets recognized by the people that make the thing that you love, you definitely take pride in it a little bit, don't you?
yeah, absolutely.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like the DLC for Repentance. Oh no, I'm sorry. The DLC for Binding of Isaac, Repentance, was a modder who did crazy things with the engine, and they're like, we didn't even know we could do these things with this engine, and so they hire the guy, and then now he's on the team, and then he made the official DLC Repentance 4. That's like the guy on the Journey, the band. There was like what do you call it? A tribute band. And then they fucking got the guy from the tribute band when the other guy died or got whatever. And they put him, he's the head of Journey now. The guy from the tribute band. It's the same thing. It's like your dream and then you're the guy. It's amazing.
Anyone else have anything to weigh in on this one? Anybody else try the Cyberpunk DLC?
I didn't
Anything
play
like
any
that?
of these DLCs. However, I have wanted to revisit Cyberpunk, and I'm trying to remember the details of Cuphead, the delicious last course. I remember that looking really good, and I'm trying to remember if it was more of the same or if there was something special about it. I feel like they had done something.
Well, the trailer was incredible.
Oh yeah,
Remember
the
it?
trailer was great,
Yeah.
and I
is
think the
this
boss
the-
fights looked really cool to me. But other than that, I think the gameplay was about the same.
Well, there's a lady now. But besides that, yeah, I don't know. It looks
Yeah.
great. Look at that.
Oh yeah, they added a new character.
Mhm.
I
It's
would
just-
try
yeah.
that. I haven't, but that's the one that I would want to try is Cyberpunk.
Yeah. So my official winner for this category is definitely Cyberpunk. I ended up picking it back up, playing a bunch of time in it, enjoying myself, and then God of War came out. So, definitely one takes precedent of the over the other. So that's all my categories and my winners for those categories. And then now we have another nomination for Game of the Year from a listener named Brennan47. Can we go ahead and play his audio?
DLG, it's Brennan47. My Game of the Year pick is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've chosen it for one thing. I love Star Wars and pretty much anything that has to do with it. And I also love God of War. And this game feels like a bit of a mix between the classic God of War, hack and slash, and Dark Souls mechanics. I love a good hack and slash that's got a good story that keeps you engaged and doesn't get too repetitive and boring. It was cool to see familiar characters like Saw Gerrera make an appearance in the game. And I had quite a bit of a laugh when I ran into the Ninth Sister, the big orange hulking Inquisitor. And then when she spoke, turned out to be a girl with a high-pitched voice. I thought that was really funny.
Thank you, Brennan47, for that. And also thank you for doing it from inside of a cement truck, because that was the most echoey thing I've ever heard.
Oh, it was great. Jedi Fallen Order is a fantastic game.
I'm
too.
halfway through it right now, and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
So
it's on Game
good.
Pass. If you haven't played it, definitely play it.
Thank
got-
you for buying it for me, by the way, Emilio.
I thought it was
appreciate
on your fucking it's on your wish list and it's $5. Those two things shouldn't go hand in hand.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. Good.
Well, I mean, $5 American. That's like 20 Canadian.
at least.
Yeah,
That's
that's
half
a
a
great
drink
game.
of
That
potion.
was Zap's Game of the Year pick from last year, and that's a game that people are still going back to. Like, I think it really has stood the test of time, and the sequel's coming out. I'm so close to finishing that game. I gotta just do it, but
I talked to Fastidious, and he's like, "How you liking that game?" And I said, "Well, it's my first Souls-like." That's not a fucking Souls-like, blah blah blah. And I was like, "Well, it's a Souls-light at least." And then nope, he wouldn't go for that either. He thinks it's a little too. And I get it. It's like on the easier side of Souls-like games. But I put it on the hard setting. I did put it on the hard setting. But yeah, I'm having a great time with it, man.
the boss fights can get pretty challenging in that game, if I remember. There was one in particular I had a tough time with, but yeah. Yeah, calling it a Souls-like might offend some people.
Why did we put the ads inside of the categories? Is there a reason for that?
Where else are they going to go?
In between?
Yeah, I don't know.
In between the categories?
It breaks.
I don't know. Let's see how this one plays out before I talk
Yeah,
more
it
shit.
might be. Is it time for a break?
Oh, I think it's time for a break. I sense a break
All
coming.
right. I sense a break as well. Okay. Then I suppose we'll be right back. Doot, 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 doot. Hi, it's Days here. I just want to, in case you're a little uncertain about the future of your reality, can I offer you instead over at Dazed Realities? Look at that. See, I've got a card, so it's official. At Dazed Reality, we find you the best new reality in home that you could ever wish upon. First up, I'm going to give you 2 examples, actually. So then this way you can come to me and you know that Dazed is the one that you want for your reality. So the first one we've got this beautiful, beautiful little cabin up in Endor. That's right, Endor. That's right. You can make your childhood dreams a reality in the reality of Endor. We've got a beautiful cabin. You can climb up into these trees. You've got a nice little bug net. And, I'm sure the retail value on this is going to be phenomenal. The resale, at least, for sure, is going to be incredible. But the retail is a steal because you're dealing with Dazed Reality. And so, that's just one beautiful example. I've got tons, though. I've got so many different houses that you can find yourself in that you, too, can enjoy for your reality. The next one we've got is the beautiful little swoop-de-whoop house up in Swoopity-Boop-Boop kind of planet, in case you want to go there. It's a fun, whimsical, fantastic little planet. And we've got all kinds of beautiful little homes. You can see here the architecture is really out of this world because here at Dazed Reality, I want to make you feel dazed in your own reality. It's not the weed, it's the landscape, I swear. So we've got beautiful, beautiful architecture. It's going to make you never want to leave. And you're going to be so thankful you left that dirty, silly little earth and that silly human reality behind because you don't need it over here in Dazed Reality. Once again, there's my card. The number is 310 something something. I can't read my own handwriting. That's okay. You can Google it. Anyway, thank you. Back to you.
Wow, that was incredible. I want some Dazed Reality in my life. Does the Ewok village come with an Ewok that I can fuck, or?
It's not included. You have to find your own.
They are
as
people,
long as it's provided.
and they do
I'm-
have consent.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's quiet at the same time. All right, so
Yep.
It's because it's your turn.
that was
to talk.
great, Days. Yeah, here's my categories. Can I get Bobby to spend real money to buy these games? That's category 1.
Why am I always a category?
Because you're a very decisive individual, man.
Because we love you.
So Warhammer 40K Dark Tide, that one almost doesn't need to be on here because it went to Game Pass. But Game Pass is not always a guaranteed thing for Bobby. We know this, and he won't pay full price for it. Stolen Realm, I tried all year to get him to play that, but that was a no-go. And Star Wars, Lego Star Wars Skywalker, which he said was the most anticipated game of the year for him. He said that at the end of last year.
Must have been a slow year.
And by the way, I still hasn't played it, even though it's
Played
on
a
Game
little.
Pass as well.
Played a little bit of it.
Okay. So he fought me. He wouldn't even let me get through these categories, guys. couldn't even get through the categories. I mean, through the nominations. Bobby, did you spend money on any one of these games?
No, I did not, unless you count the $1 I spent on a month of Game Pass.
I do.
For Warhammer Darktide. Okay, then Warhammer 40K Darktide wins by $1.
Yeah!
I'll buy that.
Win's
for
a win,
$1.
Baby. We're here.
Nice.
Congrats to Warhammer 40K Darktide.
Got blood from the stone.
All right, next category: games whose poor looks. I guess I mean bad graphics, but I don't know why I put poor looks. Games whose bad graphics are indirectly proportional to how much Amanda likes them, aka really bad looking games, but she loves them because of the story and stuff. So, milk inside of a bag of milk, inside of a bag of milk, inside of a bag of milk. There's milk outside of a bag of milk, outside of a milk. Jesus Christ. Outside of a bag of milk. I'm not even drunk yet. And don't shit on my fucking roof. So, Days, I guess you can pick which one you like the most out of these.
I'd have to say the one that I definitely like the most, the one I like the milk is the milk inside of the bag. No, but real talk, like milk inside of a bag of milk inside of a bag of milk inside of a bag of milk is definitely my favorite. The inside bag, because that's the part that matters. That's where the milk really is. But the real answer is that like that was the first game that was kind of unique in its own self, whereas I felt like its sequel wasn't as good as the original. And Don't Shit on My Roof is just kind of funny, but Milk Inside of a Bag of Milk is a fantastic game.
Glad to hear it. And then, is this game so bad Nick will give up on Warhammer finally? This game so bad. Warhammer 40K Darktide, Warhammer Blood and Teeth, and Warhammer 3. All of those were good, right?
All of those were good. If I have to choose like the worst out of all of them, I would say shoot as Blood and Teeth.
Okay.
The reason being is just like it's a fun game. It's just a little short for $15.
You finished it? I didn't know you finished it.
Yeah, we finished it in like a night and a half.
Gotcha.
It just wasn't. I think if you weren't a huge fan of Warhammer and you were like, let's just pick this up and see what it is, you wouldn't enjoy it that much. It's you're gonna have to have like that background knowledge and stuff like that to really have an appreciation for it. And that's not to say that some people won't have fun playing it, but it I think it's just better for a fan of Warhammer already. So yeah, that's what wins that category.
Gotcha. Cool. I'm glad that I didn't have to pick any of my winners. Cool. Bobby.
Nice.
Well, first we got a listener nomination.
There's a brand new game called Scram TX.
We love our listeners and our community.
Hey y'all, Scram TX here. My game of the year this year is Tunic. It was closely followed by Cult of the Lamb, but Tunic wins out just for how well it was crafted and the unique element of finding the old NES-style game manual throughout the game that revealed secrets and abilities that you didn't know you had. It was challenging, but not so difficult to cause me to rage quit. The graphics were cute and endearing. Tunic, game of the year.
Nice. You know,
Nice.
had I played more, it might be on my list as well. But it's still, I'll get to it. God, guys, I beat so many games. I had like 2 weeks off. I beat like 4 or 5 games. It's crazy, but that's all on next episode.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, before we get to my category, let's take a little commercial break here. We'll be right back.
Are you an upstanding
Oh, no.
citizen?
Fuck.
Are you an upstanding citizen?
There's video.
Do you think that you're normal? Do you love your family? Well, here on the Digital Logic podcast, we have discovered that one of our own answered all of those questions incorrectly and is truly out of his mind. Some of you watching this commercial may think, who can it be? Who can be a true menace to society? Don't look too far because the answer has been in your ear and on your monitor for every week for the past decade. Robert Digital, or as you may know him, Bobby, has been holding his mouse like a heretic ever since the first computer was ever invented. Such heresy cannot continue as long as normal people use the mouse like so. You may be thinking, why does this matter? I hold a mouse like Bobby too. Well, if you do hold a mouse like Bobby, you're wrong, and you probably smell like a pack of shredded cheese left in a hot car for a week. Don't be old shredded cheese. Be fresh shredded cheese, sprinkled on a pizza that everyone loves. Hold your mouse like a normal person, and put a stop to Bobby. To show your support for the Normal Mouse Holding campaign, go to the Digital Logic Discord and post #DownWithBobby. This ad was brought to you by the Emilio Enclave and the M8 Alliance. No money from the Sniper Canadian crew was used to finance this commercial. This is purely satire and we love Bobby.
Dude, that's the greatest Peter
Oh my
content.
god.
That was amazing, dude.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll have to post that in the Discord so everybody can see. The,
Bobby, did you see that before this?
No, none
Dude,
of us.
I'm
have.
crying
That's
over here, dude. That was so
hilarious.
good. There's a video, so anybody listening to this, if you want to see this, you have got to go.
Yeah, got to go to the Discord, see the video. We'll post it.
Fuck, that's hilarious.
Oh man,
oh boy. All right.
thank you, Nick, for doing that.
It took all of 32
Oh.
minutes.
Worth it. All right. Well, let's get to my categories here. I'm going to start with the backlog. So we're always trying to shave off some games from our backlog. And my backlog, not to brag, friggin' huge. All right. It's pretty big. Okay. Got a lot of games. Started some of them. Never finished them. So this year, I made a bit of an effort to finish some games. Jedi Fallen Order, didn't follow through with that though. Had some save issues, didn't happen, but that's a work in progress. Deponia Doomsday, I was really happy that I finished that one because now I played all the Deponia games. Played the trilogy. They came out with a fourth one. I was like, well, I guess I got to play that. So now I got the complete story of Deponia. But I think my favorite one was Epistory Typing Chronicles. I started playing this back, 2018, a long time ago. I started playing this game, and it's a typing game. And I think I just liked it so much because it annoyed Ray so much when I brought it up on the podcast. I think that was what I really enjoyed about this game.
He's like, "What is this?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then that week I brought up chess. That was great. But I went back and I finally finished this game, and it's actually pretty good. For a typing game, I mean, you're just typing in letters, but they make it fun. So here's to you, Epistory Typing Chronicles. Where's the sequel? Actually, I think they're making a sequel. Oh, we can look that up later. All right. Is there a sequel? Typing Chronicle? Oh, there is. Nanotale, Typing Chronicles. It's already out, isn't it? Like we talked about this. Yeah, it came out last year. Okay.
Didn't you play it a little bit? You're like, "Oh, this is not the same."
No, I didn't. We brought it up on the radar, I'm sure.
Just
That's
riding
probably-
the coattails of Epistory.
Yeah. Okay, next category. Games other people pestered me to play. So people are always bugging me to play games, like all the time. They're like, you got to play this, you got to play that. No, I don't. All right. I make up my own mind. All right. But some of them turned out to actually be pretty good. All right. Some people actually had some good recommendations here. And I think these are all from Nick, by the way, too.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Yes.
both Emilio and Nick had categories talking about how hard it is to get you to play a game. And you have a category talking about how people pester you to try to play games.
Yeah.
I don't know who's at fault here.
I mean, it's just high standards is what it is.
I see. Can you play that Epistory typing game footage again? Hi, Mr. High Standards. All right.
Okay, first game is GTFO. So this game, I could see why you would recommend this to me. GTFO is a co-op game, and it's supposed to be really difficult. I enjoy challenges. I enjoy co-op games. And I did enjoy this one. The only problem is you've really got to have a full four-man squad to do this game right. You know, you can't just go in all willy-nilly with some randos. And also, as we've talked about many times, this game is absolutely terrible at the most simplest thing, forming a party. We typically spend about a good 20 minutes just trying to get everybody in one group and into the same game just to get this going. And I don't think it's me. Next up, Phasmophobia. This was a really interesting and unique game, and people always pester me to bug games or play games, and part of the reason that I don't do it is because by the time I get on there and start playing it, everybody's going to move on to something else. All right, Valheim, V Rising, these flash in the pan games that come and go. Like I don't want to buy them and then just totally miss out because everybody moved on to the next big thing. But Phasmophobia, it came out well over a year ago, was a big deal, remained a big deal, has gotten better over time, and it's like every Halloween this game has a resurgence. So I think it was a good investment, however much this game costs, $15, $20. Good investment, good return on that investment, and pretty good game.
Also, very hard inventory management system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got some notes for this game, too. Yeah, you heard us talk about it. There's some complaints. And last but not least, probably the winner here is Mountain Blade Bannerlord, or Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. So this game was one that I didn't have much of an interest in playing, but once I started playing, I was completely addicted to it. It's hard to explain what this game is. It really is. Is it an RPG? Kinda. Is it a strategy? Yeah, sort of. Is it a grand strategy? Sure. Like it's all these different things mixed into one. It's incredibly ambitious, and I think it totally works. The only issue I have with this game is I've lost all my progress because of their updates, but that's okay because I probably just need to start from the beginning anyway. But this is a game that I'm scared to go back to because of how much time I will dump into it.
I almost want to say like it's a retirement game, right, Bobby? For you?
Yeah, it really is. It was about this time last year that I played it too, and I had a little bit of time off of work, and I was able to just sink in a ton of time, but it was a lot. So yeah, it's a great game if you have the time.
What is
Mountain
it?
Blade is cleaning up at the DLG Gaudy Awards, dude.
Yep.
Bobby, you got to explain your next category, please. What does that mean?
That was I just called it faves, but these are just my favorite games of the year.
But we're going to this is the Game of the Year episode. Can we just not do that part? Can we skip that part? All right,
I think we can skip it.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm
Because we're going to bring it up at the Game of the Year part. No?
Okay, yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
Fuck that category.
All my homies hate that category.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I'm conflicted between. Okay, that's fine. We'll
No,
do
go for it.
No. It's all right.
Just don't mention the one that's going to win. Talk about the other two, I guess.
Okay.
Right?
No.
No.
We'll save that till the end.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
I can't wait for this.
So before we move on, though, let's have a quick listen to another Game of the Year nomination from one of our listeners. This one is from Zap.
Hey everybody, it's Zap here, and I just want to say thank you to the DLG crew for putting on another great year of podcasts and also welcoming us all onto the show. My games of the year for this year are going to be two of them, God of War Ragnarok on PS5 and also Pentiment, which is available on Xbox and PC as well. Both of these games are absolutely fantastic, and as someone that really enjoys narratives and single-player stories, they both fire on all cylinders, but in different ways. On one hand, we have God of War Ragnarok, which is a bombastic AAA action-adventure game where you are going across the land and killing Norse gods. But on the other hand, you have Pentiment, which is a very quiet and contemplative mystery game where your choices actually matter. Depending on what you're looking for and what your mood is, I think honestly either of these two games would be a fantastic fit for everyone, which is why I named them my games of the year. Thank you guys, and have a happy new year, and hopefully 2023 is better than 2022.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can we
Wow.
get that
That
down the
little
cast?
30-second.
Thank you.
Does that guy need
Yeah.
a job? That guy's
I was gonna
awesome.
say, in that little 30-second clip, he did better than this whole episode's
Yeah.
been going. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks.
Yeah, he's killing it. That's
God
awesome.
damn, dude. Way to bail us out.
Hey, what is Pentiment? I can't think of what it is.
Did you not listen? Jesus Christ.
No, I know, but I don't know
I
what it is.
believe it's like this. It's
Oh,
this
I
like
remember.
almost like a not cartographer. Yeah, well, it's this guy that is
You
what
brought
is
it
it, a
up, Bobby,
calligrapher?
right? on the
And
radar?
he's drawing
I
everything, and
don't
they draw
know.
these battles. Oh, sorry.
Is that what it is?
I think that's Enculinati.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this one.
Interesting. Huh.
Looks cool though.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Nice.
put that on your radar, folks. Pentiment.
Put it on your
Oh,
radar and
yeah.
smoke it.
Put that in your radar and smoke. Oh wow.
All right. Well, speaking of smoking, we're going to move on to my categories and section of this. Going to take it over. We're going to pull it back. But just right quick before we really come into the real true hot fire categories, I think it's time for a little bit of an ad, don't you think, from our new sponsor?
Our new sponsor. And I'm just going to do this like a true podcast ad. It's going to be real casual, folks. You know, things get real complicated. Video games, all these buttons, things to do. I don't like it, man. So I want to give a quick shout out to rocks. Rocks are great, folks. When I was young, my friends and I, we just throw rocks at each other, and we had a fucking great time, all right? Sometimes someone would catch one in the eye. That's part of the fun, all right? It's going to happen. But let me just say, rocks, you can throw them. You can throw them at your enemies. You can throw them at your friends. You can collect them. There's smooth ones. There's sharp ones. There's clear ones with healing powers. They're fucking great, guys. Rocks, you got to check it out. You can go to rocks.com or you can just go outside. I mean, they're everywhere. Check it out. All right, back to the show.
A tilde key in his left hand and rocks in his right.
This is
Bobby.
It's hard to
it.
find
That's
something
perfect.
more simple than a rock. It's true.
It is. They can be pets.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're so versatile. Yeah.
They can be
really.
cleaned and shown off at Digital Logic gaming conventions.
Oh, that's true.
I buy rare ones.
That is true.
SOCOM knows what I'm talking about. He gets it.
Absolutely.
Shout out to
He
SOCOM.
gets it. This ad was for SOCOM, that's for sure. Go the fuck outside and get some rocks. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of that.
What good is it?
Speaking of being
It's catching on too because one of my friends that I play HOTS with, he does the same thing as SOCOM.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like really into just grinding rocks and making them all smooth. It's like a new thing.
I don't think they're just rocks, right? They're like,
No, they're rocks. You just rocks and you just grind them and then they look fancy.
Oh.
Yeah. So invest in rocks. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be big in 2023.
Workonius reminds us that we can smoke rocks as well.
Yep.
well,
put
I
that in your
wouldn't
radar
recommend
snack.
that. I mean, you can, but should you? No, probably not. Grind those rocks. Don't smoke them. And on that, we're going to move on to our first category of Amanda's categories. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to add my own special effects. So we're going to go with the favorite game from two classic crew members that are just driving down memory lane. They like to bring it up. They love talking about it. It's fantastic. The first one that we've got is Team Fortress 2. We've also got Smite. And then there's Heroes of the Storm. And I'm thinking the ones that that are gonna pick which of these games are the best to go down memory lane with, is Bobby and Emilio. So which out of those games do you two prefer?
Wow. Okay. First of all, nobody wants to hear about Heroes of the Storm. So definitely not that one.
It's so niche at this point. Yeah, Team Fortress, super classic. It is PC gaming.
Yeah.
I'll-
Smite, I have weird feelings about. There's still some resentment with Smite. I don't know. I don't like MOBAs. I think they're horrible types of games. They just bring out the worst in people, and they're just like, I don't know. Team Fortress 2 is just the pinnacle of gaming in so many ways.
I think so too.
I'm
they
gonna have
were-
to go with that.
10 years ahead of everything. What the?
It was the first free-to-play game, I think.
Whoa.
All right, that's awesome, man. So Team Fortress 2. I'm gonna move on to the next category here, which is the best summer fling game.
If you guys watch an
and
episode,
to
it
help
should be
me
this
with this,
episode.
anybody that's watching, slowly, speaking of summer flings, this man right here behind me is not a summer fling, but a longtime friend. I have he's 20 years old. We've got this weird, creepy ass prop called, his name's Lurch. He's got a name, and he's going to help me with picking the best summer fling game that has come out and hit DLG. So we've got Lost Ark. That was fun. Does anybody remember that? The other best summer fling that I certainly went deep in the hole for was V Rising. And then we've got another one that I know for a fact, and Sniper, I'm sure you're familiar with this. Do you happen to remember New World?
I don't. I know that was something that happened. I couldn't tell you anything about it. Sorry.
Weird, yeah, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Which one was the best flash in the pan? I guess I could add Valheim in there too, right? Well, Valheim, yeah.
No,
That's what I was
oh,
gonna
No,
say.
Valheim was
That
2021.
was- yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah.
That you're calling them summer flings, which is so adorable, and then Bobby calls them flash in a pan. Pieces of shit.
They're the same thing. No, they're the same thing
Yeah,
though. They're a
yeah.
hot flash in the
They're
pan,
a
and then
fling
you
in the
forget
pan.
about them, and then you're like, "What was that one
Yeah,
time
but they
at band
burn
camp?"
hot,
Right?
and
Okay,
then they burn out, right? So you have
Yeah.
a really good time with them, and then they're gone.
I'm
they're
remembering.
the same thing.
I got to level 200. It's all coming back. Sorry, level 200 mining. I was left clicking on rocks all over New World, and then I hit. It said 200, and I immediately uninstalled the game because I was like, I think I'm done here. I
Yeah.
think.
Because I think he found no, the key word was that you found rocks, right? So going back to our previous sponsor, rocks. Get the fuck outside and find some rocks. That
Exactly.
and even when you're in your video games, find some rocks, mine a shitload, and then delete the game because it was a summer fling and it was fun, but like you got shit to do, yeah.
Yeah. Once
So
you found all the rocks, it's over. Yeah.
that's right.
Head on over to rocksrock.com/Bobby.
Rocksrock.ro.
/Bobby for 10% off your next purchase.
Yeah. So, Lurch here has the answers to the best summer fling. Let's see what the award is. I'm struggling. You know what? There's fucking nothing written on this. The award goes to V Rising. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good.
This is how we could put it, Bobby. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. That's what I.
Ooh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like Amanda's flash in the pan obsession with V Rising is worth something. It was worth what, $20?
You had a good time playing it. It's just
Yeah.
hard for
I
me to
did
start
it.
the cycle again. I've had too many flashes in the
Too
pan.
many pans.
Too many pans.
Too many hot flashes.
I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair though. But it was very fun summer fling. I'm curious to see which one's going to be the next one for DLG and also myself.
Wait,
And
Nick-
finally,
Sorry, I don't
Oh.
mean Nick. For New World, you were on the summer. You were in the hot flash in the pan too.
Dude, I played all three of these games, and my hot flash in the pan is definitely New World. I had so much hope for it, and then everyone just stopped playing. I'm like, no! I'm like, I worked so hard to cut down trees.
that's a good point. I think DLG got consumed more by New World. You're right. We had way more. We had a whole server. We had a
Ooh,
whole life going on.
Wait, New
We're
World?
gonna.
No, we
you
had
know
a
what? That's
server for
what this
V
actually
Rising,
said
right?
was in New World.
The shitty thing is that it had so much to do, and it was so good, and it grouped a lot of people, and then everybody just bounced, and I can't remember why. Was it that there was just
It
no
got
PvP?
stagnant.
Okay,
Well-
guys.
Okay,
I want to
here
get
comes
into
the
the drama of
postmortem.
New World. Like, I don't mean to can I? May I? Do I have everyone here's permission to just do a
Please.
little aside?
Yeah, let's get into the drama.
I've
What's the
never-
tea?
Okay, so New World, a fucking hype title, and I'm gonna call people out, but we've all made our mistakes. So if I say your name, it's fine. But and I'm also part of the problem. I'm just gonna say that right now. I think with New World, our community had too many cooks in the kitchen, too many roosters in the hen house, too many rocks in the back alley. So many people started on different servers because they had other friend groups they were bringing in, and we just kind of scattered. And I feel like we didn't have that really core group of players that was always online. We had people playing across all the servers at all times, but it got to the point where you could log on and not find someone to play with. And so I'm going to blame Ray, and I'm going to blame Nick, and I'm going to blame myself because I think around us three, those were the problems.
The accusations are really flying here.
Yeah.
Well,
Nick, you gotta answer to these accusations.
So first of all, the motherfucking servers weren't working okay,
Oh,
and
there
you
was that
had to
issue.
put people on different servers. So eat a bag of wieners, because I did also have a character on the DLG server, and I played on the DLG server, motherfucker.
Sorry, Nick. I forgot about the server issues. That is why. Actually, that is why. Now, I
Blame
can't believe-
Amazon, not me.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy
AGS.
that Amazon didn't have enough servers at launch. I mean, that happens all the time, but it's like, dude, you're Amazon. You're like filthy rich and you have your own cloud computing servers. Like, you can do this. But do you think, I have no idea what I'm talking about here, by the way, but do you think had they released some DLC a little earlier on, like freshen up the content, that would have helped? Because I know with these games, that's really important.
I think what it was is that they thought people would take longer to get to max level, that there wasn't enough content for them to do at the end. And then the other thing is that people started noticing really scummy behavior in the sense of like, oh man, every enemy is one of like 7 character models and has of like 1 of 10 fucking animations. Like, ooh, this enemy is dangerous because he's bigger and he's got rocks on him, but he's the same zombie. So it's like, I think that's another reason why people dropped it. I think other things took away their core player base immediately after it came out. Forgot what other game came out at the same time or like a little bit after that drew a lot of people away.
I think it was
wanna
another
say-
flash in the pan, Lost Ark, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, Lost Ark was definitely first to ban.
I don't know. People stuck with that game for a long time. I don't know why, but they did. Like, we got a lot of
Because
people
they
that
couldn't let their summer fling go.
they could
Yeah,
not.
sometimes you
There's
can't,
people with
yeah.
thousands of hours in that game on our server.
That's true. That's very true. But moving on to the last category, I would argue perhaps the the neatest one, and it is the how neat is that? The neatest game to make an impact in a sense. So we've got 3 different categories. We've got the $2 game that creates an entirely new genre, that is Vampire Survivors. We've got it actually has good gameplay, I swear, Tales of Nadia. Pretty neat. And we've got the case of, did Bobby ever finish the Case of the Golden Idol?
Oh,
Because that game was pretty neat too.
we can crack that case right now. The answer is no. And that was one game that I did want to talk about. That gets the oh god, what was the other game with all the reading that Ray didn't like? Why am I not thinking of it?
Well, Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium.
I
yeah.
didn't like it because of the
That-
reading.
Yeah, it was like that game for me. I'm
Jesus.
like, this game is amazing, yet I know I'm not going to finish it. But Golden Idol is tough. Like, it gets pretty tough. There's a lot of stuff going on in that game, and it requires a lot of concentration and a lot of continuity. Like, you can't like leave off and then come back to it. And there's definitely stopping points. Like, you can't stop mid puzzle with like a bunch of stuff filled in. You're going to start at the beginning anyway. So. And all the puzzles kind of connect to each other too. Beautifully designed, but yeah, unfortunately, I did not finish that game.
Which one wins?
I mean, it was still a pretty neat game, you
It
know?
was pretty neat.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
So the winner of the neat is that game. Does anybody have any other suggestions or what they think the winner should be?
I mean, Vampire Survivors, I feel like needs to get some recognition.
Yeah, it's in my. It was gonna get an honorable mention for my game of the year for sure. Or it does. It does get an honorable mention because it showed that you can start a genre without doing a mix of genres or really something complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. It could be the most simplest thing ever.
Well, I've talked about my whole theory about that game. It's a reduction. The whole Vampire Survivor like genre is
Boiling down.
a reduction of Diablo 3, basically. Blizzard kind of figured out, like, okay, people really like the grindy thing. They just want to watch their character become more powerful, and they want to chase gear. Like, that's what they really want. And so Diablo 3 kind of started to boil it down to more of the point. And then this was just like, all right, we're just going to cut out all the fluff, and you're going to get all that dopamine really quick instead of just spreading it out and requiring hours and hours of gameplay.
I'm down with your whole analysis except for the game you chose, only because you can kind of build there's enough in there that it's not just happening. It's not a idle game, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not far from an idle game either.
Yeah, but you are building a build,
Yeah.
and you do have some agency in how powerful you get or which way.
Yeah,
you
well,
get
you
powerful.
definitely do in Diablo as well. This actually, Vampire Survivors has more of a random dice bankroll factor to it because you don't know what you're going to get, and different things mix and match. The problem with Diablo 3 is everybody like ran the numbers and figured out, and now you just click on you go to a website and it's like, okay, I'm playing this character, that's the build I want, that does the most damage per second. And
Right, but you can't do that because of the random factor in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no meta.
So it kind of fixes that problem.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. I will say that it does get annoying in the sense when you play Diablo with your friends and they're like, yes, I'm grinding 19 hours to get this one pair of pants, that does this or that. And I'm like, okay, this is dumb. But Vampire Survivor, I think the gambling aspect or like the randomness is what gets people to come back all the time.
Yeah. It's just it's just the right amount of whatever it's got to.
Neatness, you could say.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's the neatness.
Oh, neatness.
How
Yeah.
neat it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's through the roof, really.
Through the roof.
And then if you're gonna play this game, if you're like, I don't get it, buy this, and then also buy Soulstone Survivors, and then never play this. Give them the money that they need, they deserve, and then go play Soulstone Survivors.
It's just like a $2 tax.
Yeah, it's like a $2 tax.
Or $3 now, I think. I don't know.
It's the royalties.
Yeah, we're doing our own royalties over here.
No, $4.
So
Is it
that's
real?
the
That's Canadian.
real DLG bump right there. The royalties. I do gotta say, I would say the winner of the neatest game would definitely have to be Vampire Survivors.
Good job.
I would agree
guys.
with that.
Good job, guy.
Yay.
Good job, Vampire Survivors.
Good job. $2 game to create an entirely new genre. How neat is that? That's pretty neat. So,
Developer and publisher Ponde, just the guy's last name or first name or something. His middle name.
fucking neat.
It's neat.
Yeah, pretty neat. But, we've got another listener nomination here. We've got Mike from New Jersey nominating a game that I am actually currently quite a big fan of right now. But let's tune in.
Oh, go ahead.
This is Mike from New Jersey. My game of the year would be Wastelander 3. It's a great post-apocalyptic world, but the real star for me is the turn-based tactical combat. It's also a fantastic co-op game. I play every Saturday online with my nephew. My game of the year, Wastelander 3.
Pretty cool, man.
If Mike never said where he was from, I would have said Mike's from New Jersey. Thank you for that, man. Days, when do we get to hear about your adventures in Wasteland? Because I see that you've been playing it, and I'm curious.
I was gonna say, yeah, I have been playing Wasteland 3 with Tag Loro. It is a fantastic co-op game. I'm kind of curious how old, Mike from New Jersey's nephew is, because my character is running around with a helmet and two big dildos sticking out of their heads. So it's a pretty adult game and hilarious. I love Wasteland 3. It's super fun. And I love the tactical turn-based combat as well, too, because I was really craving that. And so Tag and I, we started a campaign, and we've been playing a bit. I'm hoping I could play it a bunch tomorrow, actually. So it's a lot of fun.
Which co-op duo did you guys start off with?
We created our own. We
Oh, nice.
created ourselves, actually, which is the funny part.
Oh, nice.
We
That's
created
the dildo
ourselves
hat?
in this world.
That explains the dildo hat.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like this game could be another Divinity Original Sin
Yeah.
for me.
I was just thinking the same
Yeah.
thing. I was like, hey, Bobby, maybe we should this be our,
You guys should. It's on Game Pass.
our hours do not cross over.
Yeah, it's tough. And my HOTS friends were trying to get me to play Divinity with them, and I'm just like, dude, it's so hard, especially because they were trying to get a whole bunch of people together, and I'm just like, the schedules are never going to line up.
Yeah.
But if people want to commit, it's you treat it like D&D. You say every Friday at these hours we're going to do it. Schedule it. Just
Like Mike and his nephew, Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
you just
Yeah,
got to
man.
do it like that, and you can make it happen. If you're just like, yeah, we'll play when people are on, and we're on all the time, so we'll just no, it's not going to work. You really just have to slot out the time.
And it's
to
got
commit.
Me and my friends for Divinity, we all pretty busy. We're 3 different time zones and shit. And we were just like exactly that. We were like, okay, man, every Thursday, 7:00 Eastern Standard Time, We're gonna play for at least 3 hours, and then we actually beat the game in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And it was a great time.
Yeah,
But
probably one of your better fucking gaming experiences of your life. You know, just it's like an online D&D thing. It's fucking great.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could go through Fort Triumph again. I've done that so many times.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie dokie.
there,
So time for a little review here. We're going to look at our Steam recap. So Steam did an interesting thing this year, and I'm glad they're doing it. Everybody's doing these now. Like I get an email from Letterboxd, which is where I log all my movies. I get this from my podcast app, and I'm forgetting the name of it now, but I really should mention it because it's a great
Spotify?
app. No, it's not Spotify.
Pocket Cast? No.
Yeah, I think that is it. Pocket Cast. Yeah, they send me like review, like, hey, this is your most listened to show. Like, it's really big now for companies to just send you like this data, and Steam, of course, is doing it, and they've got some pretty good data. Of course, they show you how many games you played and what your most played ones were, but it also gives you some interesting stats, like you played, like 10% of the games you played were released this year, and 50% were released in the last 7 years, like interesting stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at some of our profiles here. We're looking at Emilio's, and any key things you want to point out here?
Yeah. First, like new games I played was, first of all, I play a lot of goddamn games, like way more comparatively than even you guys and then the average user. I was like way above most people. Let's see, percentage played new. Yeah, 56% of the games that I play were new, because I do it for the podcast. I do it for you people out there. I'm looking for that next flash in the pan. Percentage of games that I played that in the last 1 to 7 years, and that would be 40%. And I kind of feel like Bobby's would be, mine and Bobby's are going to be inverse, because the classic games is 4%. And I think he's going to be a lot more than that. Let's see. I've heard that a lot of people, their what are you playing is like very skewed, because anybody who played VR, the VR like took over for some reason. But other than that, I guess action roguelite is up there. Fighting is up there because of Street Fighter alone. Turn-based tactics, that's my favorite kind of combat in the game. Makes sense. And third-person shooter, which, what are they talking about? Other than God of War, which is barely
I
that.
also like how
Qualify
Lego.
as a
Why is Lego a cat? Like, it's just the category is Lego.
They got
Legos.
some weird, they got some weird ones on here.
I just couldn't figure
What's
out
at the
anything
top
for you.
What's at the? I was shocked that Binding of Isaac was at the top, because I haven't touched that in months and months and months and months. So there must have been a month that I went.
Yeah, there it is. June.
Yeah, I think what happened was in between job sites, I had like 2 weeks off, and I think I played a ton of Binding of Isaac. That's the only thing I can think of, because I played. And a smart thing that they did here is they didn't track your hours; they tracked your sessions. So this is how many sessions you played. So it doesn't sound as bad, like because okay. So these recaps, right? I think some companies shouldn't be doing this, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Nespresso sent a year-end recap to us, and we saw that we spent $795 on coffee pods this year. And so we're selling our Nespresso because it's way too much money on coffee.
Oh, wow. They messed up.
Yeah, they messed up. They honestly did. I do love that machine. It's a great, like having espresso every day is great.
You know that you can get like reusable pods or at least lids, and then like pop out the ones you use and fill them with coffee, and then put the lids on instead of buying brand new pods each time.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Bro, if you're paying $700
No,
for coffee, you ain't paying for lids.
But these aren't. They're not Keurigs. They're like some other thing. I don't know.
Yeah, are they like
yeah,
a little
the-
a little pot?
Like
Yeah,
a little dome.
like the-
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom has one too. And we've been taking the used ones and scooping out the used like coffee. You could put new coffee in it and then
Bro.
just slide there's like a little aluminum
Yeah.
lid that sticks on it that you can put and then reuse it, and you can just keep reusing them.
Are
and
you
just
saying
put your
you
own
got the
coffee in
hook up
there.
on some bootleg pods, bro?
My what?
You got some bootleg pods?
I mean, that's not illegal.
just got to figure out how to fucking pirate bay some pods, and I'll be happy.
No, they actually sell the pod, like this refillable pod that has a barcode on it that literally just tells it how much water to put it. And so, like, depending on how strong you want your espresso, you just buy that version of the reusable one. And you can buy, like, if you go on Amazon and you find it, when you go to buy it, it'll show you the espresso that's comparable to each one. There's also like Reddit forums on
Oh
like
my
all this
God,
kind of
dude,
stuff.
I love you, man. I love
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna hook it up. All right, thanks.
Buy back your Nespresso machine. It's not too late.
Can we go to the top, dude? I think we
Right.
missed some key numbers at the top. I think. Let's see. The achievements. Something about achievements was interesting to me. It was like, oh yeah. Is this what it was? 401 achievements, and then the average achievements that somebody gets was like way lower. But I guess that all comes with how many games I play. So
Oh yeah, the Steam average was 21.
yeah, 21. I have
Oh, wow.
401.
Whoa, that's a 200%
That's
increase,
impressive.
No
Dude.
no achievements in life, mind you, but plenty
dude. 2000.
in the gaming
That's
sphere.
selling yourself short, bro.
Oh, you have plenty of achievements, dude. it's
Plenty
like
of achievements,
do you host?
including. Oh,
Do you
sorry.
host a podcast? Do you host a gaming podcast?
Big old dick. Is that what you're gonna? Huh? I do. I played 84 games, longest streak, 15 days. Yeah, those 15 days were between jobs. Yeah. All right, cool. I spent a lot of time on mine. Anybody else have some interesting things?
Okay, I guess we'll
Nope.
take a look at mine here. So it's interesting for me because Steam, the recap's showing that I played 34 new games and 50 games total, which seems pretty low. Of course, it's higher than the average, but still, I'm starting to play a lot more games in other areas like Epic Games, GOG. So I don't think this is going to be an entirely accurate number. What is definitely accurate is all that time I spent on Deep Rock. Quite a bit of time on Deep Rock, most played game this year. Also, Back for Blood was up there as well. Yeah, 13% of my playtime was Back for Blood. That makes sense.
I was contemplating. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't need you to say anything, but like I was contemplating how close that was going to be for your game of the year.
Well, it was last year.
Oh,
because it came out a
Forgot.
while ago. In Monster Train 2, I'm not surprised. I dumped a lot of hours into that game. That was definitely up there.
Was I right, Sniper, where he played more classic games?
I don't think so, actually. Let's take a look. Oh my God,
4%.
4%, just like me.
4%. Yeah. I think
Nice.
And classic games, maybe I'm not playing them on Steam. But if we scroll down to that,
Recent was much better, much higher than mine. I was 40%. You were 60.
oh, okay. So you can see typing games is up there, made the board, but Card Battler was far and away the most, and also Tower Defense was pretty high. So yeah, Card Battlers and Tower Defense were the games that I played.
Name the tower defense, Bobby. What do you think it was?
So I played a lot of Bloons TD6,
Yeah.
and maybe there was something else, but I do remember getting hooked on that for a while.
Maybe I got to get another shot, man. I've given it 2 shots and I don't get it. And I like tower defense. Yeah, I don't get it.
That's weird. That's interesting.
That is
Any highlights
interesting.
here, Days?
Yeah, I think. I kind of have a similar issue. I think to what Bobby was saying. I've been playing a lot of Game Pass games and a shitload of Tarkov that does not reflect this, but a lot of VR definitely played. With it looking like V Rising and Demio are some of my bigger ones, and that's true. Oh, I also beat the Steam average. That makes me feel a little bit better. I was like, shit, maybe it's lower, but. Yeah, I don't play classic games at all. And for the games that I do play, I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't really think any of these are incorrect though, but you were right. You play like 4 VR games and it's like, oh, you love VR games. Here you go. Like, so
You're one of the 20
lots of
people
VR.
playing it.
Exactly. So it says that I got a lot of VR, got some Cyberpunk on there, probably when I was playing Cyberpunk, and then open world survival craft. That's probably Ark right there. Party games, it's true. Tabletop MMORPGs was probably the New World jump that we had. But yeah, I played a lot of V Rising and Demio, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of Beat Saber as well. That's one of my favorite cardio games.
It's funny. I feel like I don't play enough games, and then I'm just seeing my numbers here. I'm like, what the fuck? I am like
Yeah.
double everybody else. But again, yeah, I have more things on Steam. I think. I Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you play on Game Pass too, but yeah, you do play a lot more games on Steam.
Yeah.
So for me, surprisingly, actually, War Thunder is my highest game on Steam. I think Tarkov beats that as well. But if you talk about like active time, like actually playing like the game, I think Warhammer 3 actually beats it. Um, the thing about War Thunder is that I play it essentially with my daughter. She's like she wants to look at all the planes and stuff, and so she'll have me like choose a plane and then like fly around. Um, it's a great game. It's just super grindy. But Total War Warhammer, I, I don't even believe I had a 9 day streak. I'm still holding off on actually playing the game hardcore and trying to get all the achievements and everything, only because I'm waiting for the 1.0 of the game mode that combines all the games comes out. Um, Mountain Blade Bannerlord, obviously in the top 3 as well. I discovered the game this year, and it's an amazing game. So yeah.
Nick, there's a YouTube channel. I'm sure there's more than one, but I saw a YouTube guy that does like um not reenactments, but like cinematically shot wars from Warhammer 3. You know,
Mhm.
like I think he's probably having the AI fight itself, and he's panning and shooting and stuff like that, getting video. And man, is it impressive looking, man! It is such a great looking game when you see it from that. I mean, if you do Gran Turismo and you only have those panning fucking beautiful shots, yeah, it always looks great. But in that environment, the way he presents it, I watched like 2 or 3 of them in a row. I'm like, because I've never seen the character models or anything or what they do when. And I was like, God, it's so good. When you're enthralled and you're in battle and all that stuff, are you appreciating the graphics at all, or are you just seeing numbers?
It really honestly depends on the type of battle. Like if it's like a super battle that I'm trying to like win and I have like an 80% chance of losing, then I'm seeing numbers. But if it's like a battle I know I'm gonna win, and I'm only playing the battle because if I auto resolve I'm gonna lose more units. Then I'll appreciate the things because they do go into a lot of detail and the technology to make the game run smoothly and how much the detail like goes away when you zoom out versus when you zoom in because you can zoom into like the belt buckle of one of the soldiers you play if you really get too crazy with it. If you do like watching that kind of stuff, um, what I will say is if you ever want to just see something crazy, like when you watch Street Fighter, you're like these guys are playing a different game, right? Is when you watch competitive Warhammer. Like I don't follow it like super hardcore, like, oh, this is the best player in the world or whatever, and this and that. I just like watching them sometimes just to see how crazy like a different universe that they participate in. And like the way that they hold troop formations and like the way that they make armies is like on a different planet, dude. You're like, why are they choosing the cheapest unit? And they have like 10 of them, and then they have like only one what you think is a good unit, and then it just ends up being a completely different game that they're playing because they also play different game modes now. Like there's domination and all these other things, and if you ever want to see something crazy, just look up 4v4 Total War Warhammer games, and where each player has their own army, and it's 4 armies versus 4 armies, and so it gets huge.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
It's definitely an impressive. It's an achievement, that game, for sure. A technical achievement.
Yeah, it's why I hope I'm honestly hoping with all my heart that the next game that they announce that's not a what I call a realistic Total War is um is Total War Lord of the Rings. Only because it's had the longest lasting modding community in Total War history. They're like updating Medieval 2 still to be able to run like orcs and goblins and all this other shit in it, and they get the all the maps in there from like the movies and stuff. And I think hopefully the next one is Lord of the Rings.
Nick, before they had multiplayer campaign and Total War games, the Lord of the Rings mod one, we would play multiplayer, but what we would do is we'd send each other the save file, have the next person take the turn, and just have a rule where you can't do auto resolve because then it could be like pretty cheap. And that was like 9 years ago or something, and they're still modding that same game now, which
Yeah.
is pretty. It's like fucking epic.
What's so crazy is that they put so much work into it that if they try to mod and get everything started in Total War Warhammer 3, it'd just be a brand new upbringing that would be, essentially a waste of time. No one is really going too hard in the paint on the mods right now because people are wondering if Lord of the Rings is the next fantasy universe that they're going to. But we'll see.
Sniper, what's replay? I'm always curious what Ree's playing back there behind you. Is she gaming?
Maybe I should show Rianne's Steam recap over mine because she's played like almost 300 or like 401 hours of Hades, and that's what she's playing down here right now. Yeah, she's gonna 100% the game. It was a 2022 goal, I think, but didn't quite happen. So
damn,
yeah, she's running through it, and she does this with all her games too. Her Steam recap is like achievements garnered. Like she doesn't stop a game until she has 100%. What's that?
Now, before you met her, she wasn't a gamer at all? A video gamer?
No, she was. Just on, well, not just, but playing Nintendo and stuff like that, Xbox.
But you turned her into a PC gamer. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man. Look at her.
Yeah.
Back there like a gamer. Damn.
I mean, yeah, she is a gamer. I feel
crazy.
like she's one of the best. She might be one of the best Hades players in this room of people right now.
Counting the cats.
Yeah, counting the cats. Yeah. All right, so before we move on, I just want to really quickly hit up my Steam recap. Nothing too interesting up here, except Victoria 3.
Which you deleted, right?
I had to delete it because I was on maybe I shouldn't say it. Well, whatever. I was on a work call, and someone was like doing a tutorial, and I was just like, I think I can get like 10 more years in here. Like, Chile is just, this is like Chilean industrial time. So I launched Victoria 3, but that's the person who is running the call had me on Steam, and he's like, Christian, did you just launch Victoria 3? You have a problem. And so I had to uninstall it because, you need to know when you've gone too far. But
yeah, for
sure. Sounds like you got a fucking narc in your company, bro.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Would you say that's like, is it the epitome of like the kind of games that you would say? Because you like these kind of games, but you had a problem, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I have a problem with some games that I uninstall and I like hide them in my Steam library so I don't play them. It's just something I know about myself. But Victoria 3 is, yeah, it's everything I wanted in this game, and I know it's only going to get better. It's just that like drug waiting for me to ingest. Like I look at it every month and I'm like, this could be the month, this could be the month where I don't do anything except play fucking Victoria 3.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wanted to hit that up. I played a lot of games for my work. I got 231 achievements, and this year I focused on at least finishing some games, which I was proud to do. Usually I start a game or I play one of these endless games that really has no beating it. So I was proud of that. And then my What Do I Play? Space, City Builder, and Grand Strategy are all on there. And Action Roguelike, because me and Rianne will play Hades side by side and pick the same weapons and boons and stuff and just see who can do better. So yeah.
But the same weapons the same weapons come up, but not the same boons come up.
Yeah, you're right. We'll try to like align our strategy, and if you pick the same weapon and the same heat, a lot of the time the same boons do come up, is what we found. So,
guys, the amount of work that Supergiant puts into their games, right? Usually, and they're going to put that into their first sequel. I can only imagine how good that game's going to be. Oof.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be pretty rad.
All right. So we had some people who didn't want to submit an audio clip with their nomination, but they did write in. So I suppose we should read those. I'll read Burn Divisions first here. Let's see.
Did we play Warcornices?
This is a link. Oh, that's okay. He did have an audio clip. So let me read Burn Divisions, and then we'll play Warconius's.
Okay.
We'll save that for last scene, as he is Listener of the Year. All right.
Nice.
Burn Division says, I put a lot of time into Last Epoch this year, over 450 hours since purchasing it late last year. It's a good modern ARPG Diablo-like. It's still an early access game, but it has a fleshed out storyline with endgame content. Multiplayer is still in closed beta, but they recently announced the public beta will be released in version 0.9 coming out in March 23.
I remember I played this when it first came into early access, and I had no problems with it. Like, I believe the story is like your world is ending, and you go to different alternate timelines or alternate multiverses and get resources and bring them back to your timeline and try to save. But yeah, basically, that's the hub, your dying world, and then you go out to these like exotic prehistoric places and stuff and just kind of farm. And I mean, farm in the way Diablo does, not in the way Stardew Valley does. And yeah, I thought it was good, and it's only gotten better since then. So that's good.
All right.
Recent reviews,
Nice.
not so good.
Okay, so our final nomination from our listener here is going to be Warconius. Let's cue it up and take a listen.
Hey, DLG, it's Warconius here. Doing this recording while on vacation with family in Mexico. And it kind of keeps with the theme of this year where I was on the go quite a bit. So used my Steam Deck quite a bit to play a lot of games I had on the backlog that I've always wanted to try. And I'll highlight a few here so that you guys know what I discovered and what I really liked. Really liked L.A. Noire. I think L.A. Noire is one of those Rockstar games that gets overlooked, but it's from a story standpoint and a gameplay standpoint, it's a lot more clever, a lot more adult, a lot more thoughtful than you would expect from a Rockstar game. So really, really enjoyed L.A. Noire. They did an amazing job on that game. Also discovered how good the Hitman games are. Played the Hitman 1 remake and the Hitman 2. And I don't know if it's the Italian in me, but just I loved the whole idea of like planning out a hit and taking out certain targets and making it as creative as possible. And the disguise system is hilarious and genius at the same time. The other game I discovered that was really neat and kind of a standout in the series, aside from Far Cry Blood Dragon, which I really liked, Far Cry Primal is really good, really clever, really interesting. The setting, the mechanics are kind of fresher than most Far Cry games, and it's not just your kind of generic shooty. Last two that I want to highlight is Vampire Survivors, a little game that everyone knows. It's a must play if you have a Steam Deck. Very addictive, very fun. And then didn't play this so much on the Steam Deck, but I played quite a bit of Cyberpunk finally this year, and it's all patched up. It's all very good, very, very impressive game. The story is interesting, the setting, the characters are cool. The gunplay, I would say, is okay. It's not much of a RPG, kind of RPG light, but nonetheless, Cyberpunk is awesome. So that's the year. Talk to you guys later. See ya.
What was his
Nice.
top one? Did I miss it?
Oh, I don't think he had one. It's just
Oh.
a quick little fun recap that he earned as being listener of the year, right?
He had a 10-way tie for first place.
Wait.
Damn.
And again, did a better job than we did this whole episode.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that he mentioned a lot of older games, like cleaning out the backlog. L.A. Noire, that is a good one. That's a kind of one we all forgot about because it's so old, but that is a classic Rockstar game.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear? I guess people in San Diego might be used to this, but to my prairie landlocked ears, I heard the ocean hitting the beach in the background.
Dude, what a baller fucking move, dude. He called us up from the beaches of Mexico.
And he didn't bother to visit you, Emilio.
What an asshole.
Ugh.
So now we have to decide our game of the year. It doesn't have to have been released this year, but we talked about a lot of games, and I don't actually know who. I don't know what's going to win. I don't know if anything's going to win. Maybe we'll have a 10-way tie here too. So
No, we
mean,
got to work out. We have to have a winner. But
oh god, we're going to be here forever.
if we're here all night,
Nah, I don't put up much of a fight on these. I don't care too much. The game that I played this year that I like, if I'm honest with myself, the game that I liked the most that I discovered this year was Monster Train. Like that, I put a ton of time into it, really enjoyed it, probably going to put a lot more time into it. Just really liked it. This was like the year of card battlers for me, like a little behind the curve on this one, but I started catching up and playing a lot of these card battler games. And this is like, even over Slay the Spire, I think I prefer Monster Train.
it's a great game.
Close second is Bannerlord.
I thought you were going to go Bannerlord first.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go Bannerlord first.
I mean, that's probably the better pick, honestly. But like I said, being honest, it was really all about Monster Train for me. Like, that's the game that I want. Bannerlord is just like, I don't know if I should hold it against a game if like it's
too addictive.
If it's too addictive,
Yeah.
because often too addictive means very time consuming, and like some games just don't respect your time, and they're just like, yeah, I'm really great, but I require all of your time, and I oversee. It's like dating someone who wants to like control you. It's like, it's just, no, that's not healthy. So I respect a game like Monster Train that's incredibly fun, but also I don't feel like I'm fiending when I walk away from
Pick up, put down as well. Yeah.
Would you say Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2 has bangs?
Oh, jeez.
The banging bangs.
Don't get me started on bangs.
Banging.
Days, I'm really curious about you.
Well, to me, my personal game of the year this year that I really fell in love and tripped and just did a deep dive into is
Tarkov.
Escape from Tarkov. Yep, it's Tarkov for sure. My runner-up would be like, I would probably weirdly have to say Game Deck at least, because that game really impacted me a lot. That was a lot like Disco Elysium to me, and I loved that game. So it was a like isometric RPG that you essentially were solving like broken code inside of VR realities that people were trapped in.
That's why
Wow, that sounds wild.
I thought that
Yeah,
this
that game was fucking amazing.
I got it mixed up. Like, if somebody would ask me what was Game like compared, based on what they said, I would have said that it was a VR game. But it was because you're going to VR. It's not in VR, but
It's not in VR at all.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Which is cool.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
Tarkov is definitely my game of the year.
Cool. And for those people like complaining about this whole episode, really, but overall, that we're picking. It's whatever we played this year that we liked the most. So it didn't have to come out this year. I don't think Monster Train was this year.
No.
Yeah. So we're just get your game of the year from the Game Awards, and we're gonna do whatever we want over here. Big kudos to Vampire Survivor. Just not game of the year material, but making a new genre is fucking incredible. Good on you. And it was close for me, guys. It would have been it's a surprise probably, but I almost went Stolen Realm because what I was really valuing this year when I was doing my nominations, and because I picked Darktide, yes, Darktide's my game of the year. I was thinking what I value the most, and what I value most is when I'm able to bring people together, or a game is able to bring people together. But sometimes you're like, hey, guys, let's all play Street Fighter. Nobody wants to play Street Fighter because it doesn't bring people together. I mean, it brings Street Fighter people together, but not anybody that I know. So what games brought people together? And Stolen Realm, I played so many hours with JP Diddy. And then I was like, hey, me and Chad had one gaming session this year. And I said, hey, try this game out. And he loved it. Or actually, we ended up playing like 2 or 3 because he loved it so much. It's D&D consolidated in, it's almost like what Vampire Survivor did to Diablo 3, this did to D&D. It's just like small little nuggets of D&D-ness. It's great. And but Dark Tide ultimately brought together the most amount of people. And a lot of that had to be its decision, and it gets points for this, to go on Game Pass. Like, I'm sure that's a very hard decision to do, but when you're having a multiplayer game, it's the cost of all 4 players is what you have to consider. Like, it's not just this person, or like, can we make that one sale? You have to make 4 sales for somebody to have the ultimate playthrough of this game. And then if you put it on Game Pass, that's an easy sale. That's an easy sale. Everybody's already on board. So for every 3, I'm just throwing numbers out here because I like numbers. For every 3 people that already had a Game Pass account, maybe one other person signed up because of this one game. You know, it's mixed all reviews and mixed recent reviews on Steam, but I don't care. I think it was gorgeous. Some of the best graphics I've seen this year. I thought the soundtrack, until I turned it off, unfortunately, because you have to if you want to be any kind of like do well, you have to kind of turn down the volume on the music. It took a tried and true game, like, you know, 4-player co-op going through A to B with a bunch of waves of monsters, but kind of made, at least I feel important every time I play it. Like, my teammates couldn't do it without me, and I feel like each one of us is providing something. And I mentioned this when I first played it, I don't think the hacking and slashing is just hacking and slashing. There's a finesse to it. There's something to it. You have to slash these guys the right way. You're not just left clicking and running through them. You have to kind of ride the wave of craziness. So that I would say Dark Tide is my number 1.
All right.
Nicolas.
Nice.
Oh man, it definitely was a year. My personal
A whole
favorite,
365 days. Yeah, man, it was a year.
my personal favorite this year is definitely Elden Ring. I played it on PlayStation. That's my game of the year. But if I have to concede and say, hey, you know, for the sake of, you know, getting everything done, I'm gonna say Dark Tide. Dark Tide is the first Warhammer game that's come out in a long time that gets almost everything right. The things that are wrong with it are gameplay wise, and you can tell that some of the things are going to be coming in the future as far as like money and like difficulty and variety. But I think it's a great game. Like you said, it brings people together. If you're good or bad, have a lot of experience, not a lot of experience, you still get a kick out of it, and it's a good time really for everybody that plays.
Yeah. You want to talk about Elden Ring at all?
Yeah, so as far as Elden Ring, the reason why it's my pick is that there's not many games where I beat it and I spend dozens of hours to beat it and then go, I'm gonna pick that shit up again and let's beat it again. And it's so varied, and you know, there's so many things that we take for granted in video games, like, oh, you know, God of War Ragnarok has all these cutscenes and all these other things in it, and like all this voice acting. It's like in Elden Ring, they're like, nah, man, like this is a guy that just kicked you off a cliff, and he's asking you to do some shit, and that's about it. And go beat up this giant knight that's on fire. And really, even with that little, even that little of context, it's still a super fun game. There is a learning curve. It is challenging. It is a Souls-like game, but that is a game I probably put in the most amount of hours this year. And what sucks is when we do these Game of the Year episodes, the games that come out in the beginning of the year don't really get that much hype.
Yeah, recency biased, I think it's called. But thank you so much, Sniper, for keeping track of everything that we played, because like I really read that list over and over and over, and really thought of, I whittled it down, and I was like, yeah, everybody's just gonna say that I'm picking the most recent thing, but no, like I really thought about Stolen Realm a lot, and there's a couple other ones I really thought about, but yeah, now that we have this, you're really getting the recency bias is not as prevalent, I don't think. Amanda, would you be willing to concede a little bit so we can put out our game of the year as Dark Tide, or
So my personal, like I said, my personal game of the year was definitely like Tarkov in terms of just games that really gripped me. But I also would actually agree that like Dark Tide does work for a game of the year because like it was super fun, and I love the co-op that plays into it because there's buffs and there's like you really do need to stick together, and that kind of game is just, I think, fantastic. It also kind of, to me, fills that kind of itch like Left 4 Dead had, and so it's very much like, yeah, we're kind of doing point A to point B, but the missions are different and there is lore and like story there that is good, but it's nice because it does feel very much like we're truly all working together. Yeah, that is a great, because that is something that I would be curious about. Pyronical brings up in the chat that I think is good, and he's like, is it any good without friends though? Because that is a fair point. I've only played with friends. Have you guys only played with friends?
Yeah, I
I
played
mean,
with
I
plenty
played
of
with
randos.
single player, and I played like without friend. Like I played all the like different game modes and stuff. I'm gonna say that you do need friends to play this game, but hey, man, you can make friends in this game real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably through this podcast community.
Not only that, but like when you search for games at the end of the game, you can literally just add whoever was in the last game, and just keep playing. The matchmaking is pretty quick. I don't know, man. If you don't got friends, you don't got friends. But there's plenty of randos on the internet that'll play with you, and it's a great game to play.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get a group together. I didn't mind so much playing with randos. It was the typical chaotic kind of mess that it was, but I imagine when you queue up for harder levels, you get people who are more serious about it. But it sounds like Dark Tide's our winner here. We're all in
I would agree
agreement.
with that.
Man, it feels weird that a Warhammer game won it. I'm the one that talked about it for so long. It was like, stop talking about it, and then it came out, and everybody loved it.
Yep.
Like,
Only fit.
Why you're wearing a suit? Do you want to do a victory lap?
Yeah, you were ready for your to accept the award on behalf of Warhammer 40K Dark Tide.
God,
Nick
I love the shorts.
Nick is standing. He's wearing shorts with a suit. He looks fine. His hair's slicked back. It's all done up. Very handsome man.
Games
Waist up,
Workshop,
Oscars.
I expect my check in the mail. Thank you.
Yeah. That is the DLG bump. So, with all these categories, I wanted to make fun little. I had so many hopes and dreams, like I do. Unfortunately, I'm easily distracted. But I still am gonna tag all the winners on Twitter. Let them know they won. Let them know the DLG bump is happening, and
It's real.
It's real. And one last thing, or maybe not one last thing, but something to end the year or to start the new year. I'm just going to open up a channel in Discord. It's going to be temporary, and it's just for anyone to give feedback for us, everyone on the show. What do you want to see in 2023? Is there any piece of advice you less Warhammer or more Warhammer? That's all we need to know. Okay, so head to the Discord.
Let them know where they can find that commercial too, man.
Oh yeah, and I'll put the commercial in there as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, I think that is our Game of the Year episode. Great job, everybody. We did it once again, and I'm looking forward to 2023. Got another beautiful year of gaming ahead of us. Any final words?
Yep. Thanks for listening. Thanks for another year's support. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening and being a part of this wonderful journey and family that is DLG.
I just loaded a Christmas tree into a car. Yeah, everything they said.
Great.
Speaking for Christian, Nick, Amanda, Bobby, and myself, Titties of the Year, everyone. Goodbye.
Titties of the Year.
Speaking of which, whole lot of non-sexualization of characters anymore, I feel like. Right? Mostly?
I mean, it depends on what you're playing.
Yeah, obviously. Nadia.